The stories that are most important to us are stories about me, you, and others. Such stories are about politics, economy, landmark achievements, institutions, sports, and entertainment. A wonderful morning to you if you're in the United States, a wonderful afternoon if you are in Nigeria, if you are in Europe, and maybe some other parts of the world, and a wonderful evening to those of you that are in far away east. Well, you're welcome to yet another edition, a fresh edition of Your Opinion. And for disclaimer purposes, always remember that whatever we say here, they are purely personal and purely yours. So you that you're watching, you might have a different opinion from what we are saying here, but that does not mean that there are no facts and figures. We try as much as possible to be as convincing and as reasonable as possible. My name is Are Valentine Benga Olasende, and I'm the producer and the host of the program. And it's going to be a very eye-catching, it's going to be a very entertaining, very informative edition of the program, because today we are going a little bit gender inclined. So today we'll be talking about the women in politics, but also we'll be profiling one of the big fishes in the big pond, and somebody that I've known over a period of years, a period of time. And I can tell you, if you want to talk about journalism, her name cannot but be mentioned. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all I need you to do is just make sure that you are tuning. Tell somebody to please get in touch, to tune in on YouTube, on Facebook. Just follow the link on the social media apps that we have sent, or you can just visit Valentine Benga Olasende on YouTube, Valentine Benga Olasende on Facebook, MC Valentine Benga on Instagram, on Twitter, Valentine Benga Olasende. So you can just go across the black, blue, green apps, and then you'll be able to watch. Well, today, apart from profiling, we'll be talking about politics generally, and then we'll also pick a topic that we can deliberate upon, which may be outside of the topic that we are ordinarily talking about today. So if you want to be a part of it, you're going to see the number to call, only WhatsApp call, but that is when the line will be open. And for you to be a part of this program, you also see the number to call or to text, and then you can be a part of it. Don't forget, this program comes your way Saturday mornings, except if there are reasons why we can't come live, but we try as much as possible to come live every Saturday about the same time. Viewers out there, thank you. It's nice having you again with us, and I'm going to be your humble presenter for today. When I come back, I'll be having my guest, and we'll start the show. 2 hours of uninterrupted programming today. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. The stories that are most important to us are stories about me, you, and others. Such stories are about politics, economy, landmark achievements, institutions, sports, and entertainment. You're welcome back. If you are just joining, if you're just tuning in, please tell other people, tell them, send them the link and tell them to also join. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, to the Facebook channel. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Facebook. Please, that's going to add to the audience, and we also guarantee participation when it is necessary. Well, I have in the studio with me a wonderful woman. I'm going to bring her up. And for those of you who may not have met her, she's one of the people that call the real member of the Fourth Estate. I can tell you boldly that she's of age and experience in journalism. She has tested both radio and television, arguably maybe also the print media. BINTA ABUBAKAR MURA is a broadcast manager, digital content creator, and journalist with Federal Radio Corporation Nigeria, FRCN. She started her career in journalism in 1996 with the Kwara State Broadcasting Corporation, Radio Kwara, Ilori, as an artist, studio manager, sports presenter, and commentary reader. BINTA got her first appointment with Kwara State Television Authority in 1998 as a sports reporter. She doubled as the news reader, producer, and presenter up to 2007 when she joined Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria as a presenter with Capital FM, Abuja. She was deployed to Harmony FM, Idofia in 2008 and was one of the 4 pioneering staff of the station. BINTA MURA studied civil engineering at the Kwara State Polytechnic Ilorin and graduated with a higher national diploma in 2000. Her passion for journalism made her obtain a diploma in journalism from IIJ and a master's in mass communication from Al Hikma University, Ilorin. She holds a master's degree in public administration from Ladoke Akintola University of Bomashaw. She is a comrade. BINTA MURA has served the Nigerian Union of Journalists at chapel level, served as chairperson Nigeria Association of Women Journalists NAWOJ for 2 terms, and currently the vice chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Kwara State Council. Distinguished viewers, I bring to your screen HAJIA BINTA ABUBAKAR MURA. Good morning, madam.
Well, good morning to you over there. I say good afternoon to those of us here in Nigeria. It's my pleasure to be here.
The pleasure is mine. It's a pleasure. It's a big pleasure having you after not seeing you for a while. But I mean, the news has been up and has become endemic around the world about all the new things and the great things that you are doing. It's nice to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Okay.
Pleasure is mine.
Okay. Beyond the black and white paper in front of me, can you just tell us who BINTA is?
Well, you have said part of my story. That tells you, the official story about myself. But on the average, BINTA is just an average human being, gentle, quiet.
Oh, trust me, as usual. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Outgoing, not completely, but I like traveling. I like traveling. Traveling is part of my hobbies, and I like to listen to music. I love dancing. That's another part of me that people don't know. I love that. I love to dance, and well, I appreciate my friends. I appreciate friendship, so I maintain all kinds of friendships. I don't, play with my friends because I'm still in touch with people that I went to primary school with. I'm in touch with secondary school mates, and I tell you, it's very amazing. I love people around me. I don't like to be on my own. I don't like being alone, really. I don't know if that's a phobia or something, but I always like to have people around. And what else? I love to do my work. Whatever work or assignment that I have to do, I like to see it through. And I've been like that, since I started working. Maybe that will tell a little bit about my sojourn in Kwara TV. When I was there, I was a reporter, and I started off as a sports reporter. That was way between 1998. You were there, yeah. So I started off as a sports reporter, and then I went into general reportage. I was also casting the news. At some point, I was producing. and I also present programs for other producers who were not producing, I mean, who were not presenting their programs. So I was presenting for them. So I had started multitasking all the way from Quara TV, and that's what is pushing me on. So I am passionate about this profession, and I love what I do. So whatever I'm asked to do, whatever I'm out to do, I do well. So that's just the
Well, when I was going through your little should I say profile here that I just read, I found out conspicuously something was missing there because you did not even say anything about your current status. Do you want me to let the cat out of the bag, or you want to spill it by yourself? Because you
I give you
deliberately just
you have the blame.
okay. Distinguished viewers, if you are watching, I have the privilege, and this is the first time she will be granting an interview since the assumption of her new position as the general manager of Federal Radio Corporation, Idofia in Ilorin. Am I correct? Is that absolutely is that properly said? Congratulations,
Yes,
madam.
it does, yeah.
Congratulations. You deserve it. And I'm saying this
Thank you very much.
authoritatively
Thank
with
you.
every sense of conviction
Mhm.
that she truly deserves it. And that's going to bring me to the first insight into you. Now, let's look at your background, engineering. It's so kind of paradoxical, but I want you to put us straight. Studied engineering, public
Mm,
administration, mass communication. You found yourself when you
mm.
started the journey as a sports reporter, sports, not just coming into the media, but coming into media through
Very
sports. Now,
unusual.
were you a footballer? Were you a
Mm,
cricketer? Were you playing volleyball? Was there a kind of
mm.
background to the reason why you came through sports into the media?
Sports. Well, not really. Growing up when I was in school, I had always been prompted to try sports. I attempted marathon once when I was in secondary school, and it's so funny that I didn't make it through. I made it back, but of course, we were the backbenchers. We were the ones that made it back to school, late. But the thing is, I had that courage that, okay, let me just try the marathon and see if I can make it. But of course, I didn't make it. But the fact that I completed the race is something. So then on the other hand, I thought, okay, let me explore basketball. Then I started
Yeah.
training in basketball just for a couple of weeks, months. After some time, I gave up on it again. Then after school, I left school. I was at home. I I don't know if I have conflicting interests. I don't know. Maybe it's this thing about everybody wanting to become a doctor. So that was my story in the beginning. I was like, okay, maybe I'll study medicine as well. I have a science background in school. So after school, then JAMB was not like it is now. You write JAMB and then you wait for like another 2, 3 months before the result comes. It will come by post, if you know what I mean. So we sat for JAMB. We did everything. We were waiting for admission. Of course, I didn't get the admission. So that was where the journey started changing. So I was at home, and a friend of my father's friend, one of his friends, came home, and he had been coming on and on. He'll come home, he'll see me. Uh, each time he comes, usually he meets me in the sitting room, and then he'll ask after my father, of blessed memory. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And this same man that I'm talking about is also of blessed memory. May God, rest their souls in peace, in perfect peace. I mean, so the man was worried that, why are you at home? Why? And I told him I was there to get admission. So after I left, both of them were discussing, men talk and all that. So I think he advised my father to, instead of allowing me to sit back and just wallow and waste the time, why don't you allow her, to go to Kwara, to Poly, which is Kwara Polytechnic here in Ilorin. So my father approached me with this option and said, well, listen, why is you're waiting at home? Instead of sitting and doing nothing, how about the option of going to Kwara Poly? And I was like, okay, it's going to be better off than staying at home. So I took the option my father brought to me. His friend went and applied. And I must tell you that I started from pre-ND. And so the course I was offered was civil engineering at that time. So I did pre-ND civil engineering, and then eventually went ahead and did ND civil engineering. Then at the time I was studying for ND, you know, that was when I had an opportunity or had an encounter with Tayo Balogun of NTA of those days. You know, he was presenting Sports Number One. I don't know if Benga, you remember that program, Sports Number One on NTA Lorry. And Nigeria was playing Tunisia, you know, that was Tunisia. Yes. So, you know, that was the time I started building interest in football. So I started watching the matches. I was following Nigerian matches. So one day, Tayo Balogun, Bayo Issa, and Ben Wabo, you know, they were discussing one of Nigeria's matches. And I was in my father's sitting room. I was wondering, did this man actually watch this ball? Well, I had my own opinion. So I picked up my father's landline. I called in, you know, it was a phone in program. So I called them and then I came up with my own analysis. And Tayo Balogun was like, okay, really? You know, he was forced to ask me, when did you start watching ball? And I just started laughing that, well, I picked my interest, you know, in this African Cup of Nations, and I was following Nigeria, but I don't agree with their analysis and I don't agree with their own point of view and all that. So I put up my argument that day. And after the program, I had no idea, you know, Tayo Balogun had anything coming for me. So after that program, a call came in and it was my father who picked the call. And then he was told that, you know, they wanted to speak with me. So I answered the call and it was Tayo Balogun. And he was like, hey, so the other time you were talking, you were saying this and that. And I said, yes, I insisted. And I maintained, you know, my stand. And he was like, since when did you start watching ball? And I said, just a couple of weeks back, you know. So he was like, with the way he interacted with me, he said, you're going to, you know, be a good product for presentation and all that. Have you ever thought about it? And I was like, no, I never gave it a thought. So he said, okay, how about I invite you to be a guest on my program? And I said, okay, what we'll do, I'll tell my father, and if he agrees, I would show up for the interview. And behold, after the call, I hung up. I spoke to my father about it, and he said, why not? You can attend, you know, the program. I was invited. He said he would invite me to be a guest on the program. So, and that was how I started my journey into journalism. I had that opportunity to be a guest on Tayo Balogun's program once, and then afterwards, after that program, he offered me an opportunity to be voicing over, you know, that time we had reports in his program and then there'll be voiceover. So he said, okay, I will need you to be voicing over some of my materials. And that was how I started. So after a while, about a year plus or so, Tayo Balogun left Ilorin. And I didn't bother, you know, so I also left the idea. I went back home. So one day I was with my mom. We went to the market. Well, on our way home, around Emirs Road, Bayo Issa saw me and said, this lady, where have you been? I've been looking for you and all this. I said, well, I've been around. He said, since Tayo left, what happened? I said, nothing. So he said, please, this is my office. He pointed to his office and said, I'd like you to be coming around. And then Bio had a program on Radio Quara, and he had a segment for campus sports. So he was like, okay, I would appreciate if you could, be presenting campus sports and all that. And I said, okay, I'll do that. So I was in school at that time. I was studying civil engineering at diploma level. So I started presenting with Bio Isa. And before I knew it, I had an offer to be a studio manager as an artist. I wasn't a staff. So I took it up, and that I would say that was how I started my sojourn into journalism. And I didn't abandon the civil engineering that I had started with. So I saw it through, finished my diploma. In fact, I went for my 1-year industrial training in Abuja, FCDA, that's the Federal Capital Development Authority. So I was there for 1 year. Then when I was in FCDA, that was when Kwara State Television Authority was starting off in Ilorin. And I got this opening also. I got the invite to come start work in Kwara Television as a sports reporter, because I had already, I've had the background with the time I spent with Tayo Balogun, and while I was reporting sports, campus sports for Bayo Isa, So, but because I wanted to finish with the industrial training for 1 year, that employment was put on hold. That was in 1997. So it was put on hold until 1998, when I had finished with the 1 year industrial training and came back to Ilorin. Then I picked up my employment as a sports reporter with Kwara State Television Authority. So I had no option but to put in my best. I started reporting sports. We're covering football matches, Kwara United. Then Ayobami Akobi was also reporting sports. So there were times we covered the stadium together. If there were matches, we would go there. And then there was this trip we had to Ibadan. It was Shooting Stars, and I think with Kwara United. That match, in fact, at the end of that match, we were running helter skelter. There was chaos,
There's so much
in the stadium
pandemonium. Yeah, I was there at the match too. I will
I'm
never
telling
forget.
you,
I will never forget in my
I'm
life.
telling you, you know.
All right.
So we ran out. Yes, so
Go ahead. I want you to.
that's yes. So that experience in Ibadan didn't discourage me. Of course, I came back. We did France '98. A lot of football tournaments that we covered. We did live commentaries on Kwara TV. Then on all the matches of France '98 and all that. So it was. I had the pleasure of having Sabama Spiv. A lot of people
Blessed
who were
memory.
into sports. Oh, of blessed memory, So we had discussions on. So it was a very pleasant journey, being a sports reporter. But then at the time I decided to forward, to go forward in my studies, to study civil engineering. I now drifted a little away, from sports reporting. I started doing other reportage, and I started taking news bulletins. I would also produce programs. Mm. And let me quickly add here that at that time that there was a program I was producing on Kwara TV tagged Brain Trust. I had one Adeboyega, who was the initial presenter. Then when he left, I had this. I had the opening to start scouting for another presenter. So one of my colleagues introduced me to Sheung Okimbaloye, the same Sheung Okimbaloye of Channels Television. So he took over, and I, tutored him. That was where he started with Kwara TV. So he was my presenter. I was his producer. And today, I'm so pleased with the kind of
I'm proud.
presenter he is. Wow, very proud. Anytime I see him, I'm like, okay, I can't believe that I actually, tutored Sheo Okubaloye, and he's really doing well. So, for me, is journalism is just like a God-chosen profession for me. It comes freely. It's innate. So I don't know how I missed realizing that I was cut out for journalism from way back in school. So that's why now these days I say career, advising younger ones to see their strengths, whatever you're strong in, just
Well, if
put all your efforts into it.
you were actually prompted to, because I'm going to take this credit. Because I remember when I just knew you when we were all younger in school. I remember I told you that even before you even thought about going to, I remember I told you right in front of IoT that you have a TV face, you have the voice. I remember, but you were not even looking. I think civil engineering was
I
all you
wasn't
had
seeing
stock of back then. So I want to also take the credit that I was one of the first people to say, okay, why don't you try this? But then I'm so
it.
proud. I'm so proud that I met you. I'm so proud to say that I'm one of those people that knew how it all started, and seeing you at the top now. Very soon, maybe you're going to become the
Thank
DG
you.
of NBC. It's doable. And when you keep mentioning all those our colleagues, Boyega, Bayo Lawal, I had a discussion with him very recently, and trust me, I'm not sure if he's watching now, but he's so proud of you. And everybody wants to ascribe to with success. So when people have success stories, everybody wants. If you write your autobiography and my name is not there, we're going to fight. But it's so nice to have you there. Now, we have said a lot
Thank
about your
you.
background. We have said a lot about your
Thank
background. Now let's talk about the system itself. When you came in and
you.
now, what do you think is the difference? The young
There's a
Binta,
huge
the,
difference.
the young the young Binta that came into analog, with tapes and all that, now
And digital.
sitting in front of digital devices. What is the difference, or what are the differences?
There's a lot. There are a lot of differences between what we were doing back then and what is applicable now. You're taking me back to the ages of roll tape, and they say it's rolling. That's for
Roll
TV,
tape
and
coming to
even in
you.
radio, when you have to use the reel for recording, when you have programs that you need to pre-record, it was in reels. You set in the tape, you reel it, and then they're like gramophone. They're structured in the gramophone records of those days. But now we have digital devices that have made the job so easy. All it takes is to familiarize yourself with this digital devices and all the platforms that are available. you know um, Even for TV now, there are a lot of changes. Everything has been digitalized, radio, television, even print. So no one is waiting. So everybody is racing and pacing with the changes, the global changes that are happening in this profession. And as it is now, what we're doing. You are in the US. I'm here in Nigeria. It's 10 a.m. over there. It's 3 p.m. here, and here we are talking as if we're sitting next to each other. So
Right.
this is actually the yeah so this are some of the very advantaged growth that we have seen in journalism
Okay,
or even in
okay.
this
Sorry, I want you
profession.
to
It's
continue
not
because now I'm going to be interjecting a lot, because I want us to we have a very short time. You think it's short, I mean, you think it's long, but it's a very short time because we need to discuss a lot.
it's long, but it's
Now,
short.
journalism,
Okay.
media is about disseminating quality information, dealing with morals and standards. Now, between the age of
Yeah.
your induction into the system and what we have right now, the mantra of transmission that we have, whether on mainstream or on social media, what do you think the quality is still sustained? Do you think the mantra, do you think is it the same? Has it experienced some kind of a downturn thing, or do you think it has gotten better?
Well, with the advent of social media and all these new platforms, we're having a lot of issues with what we were meant to practice, in the old mainstream journalism, when you have to only, we only reported what we saw and we only reported factual things. But these days, there are a lot of make-believes, things that are not even true, that making the headlines everywhere. People are like, everyone is almost a journalist now, So, but we went through school, we went through the T's, we crossed all the T's and
So
dotted the
everybody
I's, and
becoming a
we're taught,
journalist now,
in
is that
journalism
good for the
to only
system
say exactly,
or not?
the truth or nothing else. Yes, just say the truth or nothing else. And then
So hold on,
growing up in our
hold
time,
on, please.
we were, yes.
Hold on, please. Now, because like I said, I'm going to be interjecting. Now, having more people, especially now with the advent of
Interjecting.
social media, whether they are trained journalists or
Yeah,
they are
yeah.
not, do you think that has become a plus to journalism or to the media? Because I don't want to use the word journalism because you have to be trained to be a journalist. But let's say the media, dissemination of information. Now that there is competition, because back in the days,
It's not a plus, really, because
okay.
it's not a plus, because with the recent happenings now, it has been leading to a lot of misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. So people say things that are not true, and then a lot of people believe some of these things, and then you find out that people who feed on what is not true, uh, it's not healthy for the society, because sometimes you never can tell where the extent of damage that can cause.
But without
So
social media,
if
you don't have the reach. Social media has a better
you
reach
don't,
because you
yeah,
are
so
just confined to
the
your,
social media,
back then when
yes,
you want
you
to do
go,
live program, you have to take
yes,
your OBS van and all that. But now
yes.
there's transmitter on every phone. I can in
Ah.
real time I can just do live and all that. Don't you? And you said it's not a plus. Social media has been the one that is even exposing more of those things that we never would have known.
I'm not saying that social media is not a plus. Social media certainly is a plus. But what I'm looking at now is, the practice that the people who are using the social media, the users, whether they are trained or not. The fact that those who are not trained are using it, they misuse the media. That's what I'm saying. And it's not right.
Okay.
It's not good to mislead. It's not good to mislead the polity into believing things that are not, because a peaceful society gives room for greater development, for more development. But when a society has been led into chaos due to malinformation or misinformation or disinformation, then there can't be any form of development. But to say that social media is a complete plus for us, because it has enhanced our job, it has made it easier. I can be in Ilorin now, and I'm talking to you in the US. I can do my work and forward to the headquarters. A lot of things we can talk. You can send messages within the space of a minute, or all it takes is just to type and send, and you're done. So all these platforms are very okay. They're advantageous for us. In fact, it is a plus. I wouldn't even know what life would have been without social media. So a lot of, but what my concern is the misuse of the social media. We don't need to
Okay.
misuse it. Now you are using it,
Okay.
you're using it positively, what you're doing, while
Okay.
others are using,
I'm going to
taking
take
undue
you.
advantage of social media.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
BINTA ABUBAKAR MURA. Yeah, I'm going to take you a little bit because I have a lot of places I need to cover. Now, I usually tell some of our colleagues in the
Okay.
media that I'm lucky to be one of those people that pass through professional hands, people that are tested. I mean, and trusted. I can mention the likes of Modibo Kawu.
Okay.
You know, he was the pioneer in that Quora TV. You
Yeah.
remember? I will always give him that credit. You
Comparatively,
know,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yes, he did a
Tiger.
lot then.
Um,
Mm.
uh, yeah, then what's the name of this? Our brother, Ayo Sinlu, who eventually became the chief press
I
secretary
also, yes.
to Our Excellency, the wife of the President,
Mm.
Jonathan. Then, you know, these are people that
Yes,
all of them
yes,
rose through the
yes.
ranks, especially in Ilorin. You get,
Mm-hmm.
but Ilorin seems to have produced quite a
Especially.
number of, and you know, Modibo Kawe eventually became the DG of NBC. So now, what
Mhm.
has been your
Yeah.
experience? Because you passed through almost all these guys, you know. So,
Well,
what is the
yes,
experience?
we
You
did.
being under their management, and now you being on top of another management. Will you
Management.
say that
Mm.
you have learned a lot from them? Are there things that you feel that you would have done differently if you were there? And then what is the
Yeah.
asking of your new position?
Well, I must say that I've learned so much from all these great mentors that you have mentioned. Modibo Kau was the one, in fact, who offered me that job in 1998. In fact, he had wanted me to join Parativ in 97, but because I was on industrial training, he had to, push the appointment forward until 1998. So working under him, you had no choice but to do the right thing. Because as a newscaster, then I recall with nostalgia, each time I read the bulletin and probably I just missed or messed a word up. Once I'm stepping out of the studio, he's coming with his hammer, to knock my head and say, that is not how to, this is this and not this, this is that and not, and so you have no choice but to learn. And anyone who knows Modibo Kau will know that, his English is, you know, very
Is
clean,
is
and he will
is
not take you
pure and clean.
saying very clean. So I learned a lot from him, and I'm sure that other people who worked with him, learned. And so he had already, created that niche and that standard for us to maintain. So you had no choice but to keep that standard going. And so I would say that he molded me to, taking all those chores very seriously, including when I go out for reports, you come back, you write, you do your voiceovers and things like that. So that is a solid background that I had. And there's just no one who would pass through Quara TV. Like you are also a testimony of Quara TV. There's no one who will pass through that place and would not know that you have passed through standard or quality. And they managed us properly, and we saw them doing nothing but the right thing. And so I have learned so much from working with this fine gentleman. And it is what prompted me to be more dedicated even when I left Quara TV and joined Radio Nigeria. I
Well,
took my
but
job seriously, and
it
I've
breaks my
never for
heart.
once failed to do what
I know it breaks my
yeah.
heart to see, and I'm going to say this with every sense of conviction that the black pot that produced the white pap is broken, is heated, is because
Hmm.
Quara TV that has produced so much is still crawling. I've seen a number of governments come
It's
into
still
power, and then it's still I was right there when they brought channels. I'm one of the pioneer presenters in Quara TV. And
yeah.
I'm happy that I
Mm,
knew all the people that
mm.
I knew. But I'm saying that that same institution that produced all these great people is
It's
struggling up
suffering.
till now.
Yeah,
Transmission is not there,
struggling.
and even I don't want
Mm,
to talk about the quality of content that they have now, but then I think they need to do better. Now, if you were supposed to be the one in charge, that's why I said, what would have been the difference? What did Modibo Kau not do? What did Mero Mustafa did not do? What did Lobi? What are those things that they didn't
Maybe.
do right? What would you have done better?
Well, y- honestly, these people tried their best. You know, when you're in the media and when you work with the government media, there are times when even when you have when you have a fantastic idea or you want to bring something very spectacular to the table, if it doesn't rhyme with what the government is thinking for the same organization, you just be by yourself. So, but all these people that you have mentioned have tried their own beats at that time. When you mentioned, when you said channels, at that time that channels came, Kwara TV went on we went on a break, for channels to overhaul the place. They did an overhauling and all of that, And so when we were coming back on transmission, we came back, stronger at that time. And coming back on air again after channels came with us, there was a lot more, improvement. We were better off from where we left, and then it's just sad, even when we talk amongst ourselves. This, I don't know if it's something about being jinxed. I don't know, but it's really heartbreaking to see that Kwara TV is still, the way it is. But the fact is that the good hands, have left. We couldn't have, stayed back there. But I also expect that the young ones who are there, should develop themselves, and then there should be a platform for them to grow stronger. Yeah, the only thing that one would have done differently, if I was to have the opportunity to say I want to look or oversee Kwara TV, is to harness all the support that one can get, for the organization. Harness support either from foreign organizations, if there are grants that they can use in supporting media organizations. Some of these things is because we don't have the information, because the information is not available. But if you find out that there are organizations who are actually willing to support media houses that are struggling in developing countries like ours here in Nigeria, they will be willing to support and aid in form of grants and all that. But if you don't reach out to them, they can't know that you are in problem. And most of these issues that is causing setback is the issue of equipment. Then we were analog.
But beyond the issues of equipment, HAJIA, beyond the issues of equipment, what about government intervention? A lot of these state-owned corporations, especially institutions, a lot of them are being controlled by the government, and I would say maybe to a larger extent by the party in power. You get to some stations. I mean, it's supposed to be freedom of speech. You find out that even opposition parties cannot even fly their promos. They cannot fly their jingles in some stations. This is not accrued to Kwara State Television alone. I'm talking about even now government media houses too. They are being kind of controlled by the government in power. And this has been, like, you also work with the federal government media outfit. Would you agree with me that there has been a way of subversion where the theme of most of these stations have been taken over by another form of system?
Okay. It's a very familiar scenario, and that is what we see particularly. But let me say and quickly add here that FRC and Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria has always been a platform for all parties, has been a platform for everyone. Everybody has a say in FRC, and if you come forward, you have an opportunity to talk. And so even if you have a history of the politics in Kwara, you would know that it was FRCN that actually gave platform to other parties at that time when PDP was the ruling government here. We gave them platform to talk, because it is part of the reasons why FRCN decided to, in every state, have at least an FM station in each state, so that they can, we can transmit to that grassroots. The people in the area can be taken care of. Their area, their needs will be taken care of. They will have a voice of their own. And then most of the stations, if you see, most of our stations, we transmit in the language of the people. And that's the reason why FRC and Harmony FM Idofia today, we more than 70% of our programs are in Yoruba, because the majority are Yoruba. So we speak to them in Yoruba. But for the state-owned media organizations, like you said, really, it's a matter of he who pays the piper. Although they say it's no longer a popular saying. So
Okay,
he who pays.
okay. I'm going to I'm going to have to.
I want to agree with you actually that yes, the state government could be a hook in the neck for some of these media organizations by not giving them this freedom to operate. And that's why even the maintenance and running of these places, like I said earlier in my talk, that if the government does not get involved, if you're heading them, there's little or nothing these people can do. So unless the government comes down to do what it ought to do, all this organization, the state-owned media would not, flourish.
Okay, thank you so much. It's been a very wonderful time. And the seat, I hope, is not getting too hot, because by the time we get to the next part of it, I'm going to put some temperature in your seat. But we're going to go for a short break. When we come back, we'll be rounding up on you. We'll be talking about where you come from. And then we're going to be asking some very, very salient question about the media before we now move into our topic for today. Now, distinguished viewers out there, please, is your opinion. I want you, as much as possible, to also send your comments, whether on Facebook, on YouTube, or Instagram. I'm going to put there, and then we'll put them. Don't forget your opinion, and your opinion is as good as mine. Nobody has any superior argument on this program. Your argument is your argument. My own argument is my own. But we are dealing with facts and figures. Don't forget that. So we make a statement for every of the editions that we do. Well, I have in the house HAJIA BINTA ABUBAKAR MURA, the current general manager of Federal Radio Corporation, Idofia, Ilorin, Kwara State. So we're going to go for this short break. When we come back, the show will definitely continue. Please don't forget to subscribe, share the live, let other people also join, especially when we start discussing our topic for today, which is women in politics, a case study of Natasha Akpoti and the rest, including HAJIA. I will also be asking her that in the very foreseeable future, will she also end up in the Senate, or will she want to be governor in Kwara State? We'll be talking about that and many, many other questions that are really lingering on my mind. My name remains sincerely yours, Are Valentine Benga, and I'm still the host. I'll be right back after this short break.
It took one man to do what government should have done over the years. He's basically embarrassed multiple governments in Nigeria, because what he's doing is what government should have done. It took one man to build this refinery, and they can't fix Port Harcourt, they can't fix Warri, they can't fix Kaduna. Isn't that an embarrassment? And he's done it. So he's a hero. And the government should apologize to Nigerians for being so inept and not being able to do what one man has done. And that's why I think he's a great guy. Price is going to go up. You'll be paying market value PMS. The minute he starts, you'll be paying market value. So don't think his refinery is going to make prices drop. You're going to pay market value. For how much are you paying now to fill up your tank?
About 8,000, 10,000.
Then you'll be paying 30,000. Market value. He's not going to do this and subsidize you. He's not going to subsidize you. The government can subsidize you. He will not subsidize you. If he doesn't charge market value, he's going to be broke.
The stories that are most important to us are stories about me, you, and others. Such stories are about politics, economy, landmark achievements, institutions, sports, and entertainment.
You're welcome back. It's still your popular show on the social media. Your opinion. My name is Are Valentine Bengaola Sende, and this program comes your way Saturdays, US time 10 a.m., Nigerian time 10 a.m. I mean, US time 10 a.m., Nigerian time 3 p.m., UK time 3 p.m. And I have on the hot seat, I think the seat is just getting warm. Very soon we are going to get to the part that is a little bit above the high temperature. I have in the house with me HAJIA BINTA ABUBAKAR MURA, the current general manager of Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Idofia, in Kwara State. You're welcome back. I hope you had a opportunity to quickly take a sip of
Thank
water
you.
or your tea and all that. I hope
Thank you.
because I'm going to be
Yes.
asking some questions. Don't forget, there's a disclaimer on the program that whatever you say is your opinion. Now, we just talked about
In my
management
opinion, sure.
before you became the manager of your own institution. Now you are the manager there. Now you can do and undo. So what will you do differently? Affecting your immediate constituency and then the larger mantra of the institution called media.
Okay. Well, for me now, it's a real deal, and I will say that of course this is more responsibility. It ought to be expected from me. So first things first, I have the intention to do some overhauling and see if we can rebuild. My passion is to get our studio rebuilt. If it can have it needs a new face, facelift and all that. It's my intention, and I hope that by this singular voicing of it, it has been stamped by the Almighty. It's my dream. It's the dream of all my staff, to have a very spectacular studio, and that's what we're planning. And if there's any other thing else, is the welfare of staff. Uh, no matter what you do, the people you work with are very important. You can't do anything by yourself. You can't do everything by yourself. And so you need the people around you to be happy, to do to keep on doing what they're doing for you, and then doing it wholeheartedly and doing it diligently. For those of us who are from this part of the country, they say, okay, I'm just trying to see if I can bring an adage in Yoruba, that says that kusheka kini kushelo moria. When people work for you and you appreciate them, they're spurred to do more. They want to do more for you. So this is another thing that I want to see that I can do for my staff. Because I've also been there before, and I know how it gladdens, my heart when the then general managers, when they come up with some kind of incentive, to encourage you to keep on doing what you're doing. I know how the feeling is like. So I want the people that I work with to also, to keep having that feeling and then keep doing more. Because if you take care of them, they'll put their optimum, they'll be at their optimum service, and you enjoy them better. Um, Apart from ensuring all these things, there are a lot of other things. I can't begin to be counting them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we'll take them one step at a time. There is just so much to be done. And the only thing that I want to say here is that I hope, the platform, the avenue, all the resources that I would need, or that the management will also need, to get this done, is not about me. It's about the management. It's about getting teamwork. If, for instance, the staff, probably their priority, it's just an example. If their priority is to have a staff boss, for instance, and then I have chosen to say, okay, oh, I want to repaint the office. This is a misplaced priority. And of course, it will not go down well with the entire staff. So, there's the plan is to get the feel, get the vibe from the staff. What do we need to do first? So we'll prioritize, the needs, and then see how we can sort them one after the other. So, and if you do what the people want, if you do what your staff want, it's a lot better than what I want, because it's not about me. It's about the staff. It's about the organization. And of course, because this is federal, it's a federal establishment, it's government owned. There are a lot of procedures, there are bottlenecks here and there, but we will see how we'll jump all this, or how we're able to maneuver and do the right thing, do the needful, do what we ought to do, and then see how we can move the station to where it ought to be. So I've had two predecessors. I've had two predecessors, three to say, to be specific. One of blessed memory, the other two, the other one has gone to Bond FM now. But I need to build on what they have done and do more. I cannot just relax and stay at where they, stopped. So the idea is that I need to push the management. We need to move further. We need to take the organization to the next level. And that's my intention. But there's nothing that I'm planning to do by myself. So it's a teamwork, and I need to feel the vibe of my staff to know exactly, what we need to do first and what we need to do next and next and next. So by the time we're done, I hope you'll be visiting Nigeria, so that you come, you see for yourself.
Yes, thank God I'm having the opportunity of being the first person to ask you that question as the new manager. And I'll be back again after 1 year, because I'll be watching whatever you're doing, forgetting that we are friends, because there are things that needs to be done. Now, the last question that I want to ask, there are going to be two bits. One, you have talked about what you will do in the micro level. Now, I want you to also touch the macro scene, where we're looking at the umbrella, of media houses, journalism in Nigeria, because this does not talk about your station alone. We're talking about, when will Nigeria be able to compete favorably with other media houses across the world? The Radio Nigeria, the University of Ibadan, Nigeria had already had radio stations before Spain had their first one. But where is Nigeria rated? When will they ever be able to rub shoulders with modern day media, especially in the modern day world, where robotics are doing a lot of things, where AI is becoming an institution in media and broadcasting? When do you think Nigeria will get there? When are we going to have live coverages without all the usual interruptions and all that? Is it that they say manpower is not enough? Is it that they say there's power outage? One cameraman, this one, that one. When are we going to get there? And then what will be your influence in that particular situation?
This is a very good question. Talking about moving or rhyming or following the trends, without wanting to sound pessimistic, unless we change, our mindset, and unless we're deliberate on attaining what you have asked me, would remain where we are until we begin, to make all this, to make the move. And it starts with, excuse me, it starts with government providing, all the necessary equipment, all the wherewithal that we need to advance and, be at par with what is happening globally. Now, you're talking about AI in Nigeria, in the media organizations. How many organizations are AI compliant? Or how many of the organizations use AI in any form of their work? So this is where I say we need to, start deliberately joining the, the train. So like on the issue of AI, we need training, retraining. For those who already have a bit of information about it, I know that a few of my staff have had the opportunity, to attend trainings where they talk about AI and the use of AI in the organizations. Now, for us, coming back to Harmony FM, it is for us to make a deliberate effort to tag along, see how we can introduce AI. In fact, many of the media organizations are still trying to, start adopting, all these new social media platforms to use them to their, full benefit. Government, because of some of the policies in government, it hasn't been helping also, to make to move easily, from where we are to where we ought to be. So unless there's a deliberate move by these media organizations to see that our media houses are becoming compliant in all the new advanced technologies that are available for us, unless we begin to adopt them, we'll continue to remain far behind. There are some of these media houses, it's just sad and it's heartbreaking, really, to see that. I don't know if it's about funding. I think funding is essential. And I think it's one of the reasons why some of these media houses are still battling and struggling, to meet up with global practices. Because if we look at some of our major television, except for those who are in the private sector, the private media organizations, they go all out to ensure that they get the best equipment, they get the best studio, they use almost the best of whatever they need. But in the government circle, the story is a bit different, because the people who ought to do the needful, they just see government establishments or organizations as another venue to either do as they wish or enrich themselves. So if they were to get something of 10 naira, they want to make it 7 naira or 6 naira, so the rest can go to their purse. And it's just sad that they will always settle for they settle for the less. They don't go for the best. Unless we now begin to equip our organizations. Yes.
HAJIA BINTA, I need to ask you this
Yes,
question.
yes.
And I want you to be very straight. I want you to start your answer with a yes or no. Now you are the general manager, where all finances are in your capacity and in your hands. You can decide to do them. Will you also use the opportunity that you have now to also put money in your pocket? Will you or
No.
will you not? Will you? I will ask you that same question 1 year from now.
Yes.
Right? Today is the 19th day of April.
No.
First,
because
okay,
because
I will ask you.
You know why I say Valentine. Just let me say this quickly. No, because I'm actually passionate about. If you ask me now, I'm not happy with the way my studio is. It's a government organization. Yes, I can't cut off my head and sell it off and then come and fix the studio. But then I know that I can, rally around. We can do some things and see how we can fix it. So that's my first intention. So even I know the people around here say you feed from where you work, but then do the work first, please. Do the work first. Let the work come first, and then other things can follow. So, but if you begin to enrich yourself without doing anything, it's I have this impression about
so what you're
nemesis catch
saying
up with
is,
us and all that.
so what
You
you're
need
saying
to
is,
first of all
HAJIA BINTA,
do your work. Do your work. Do your
HAJIA
work.
BINTA, so HAJIA BINTA, what you're saying is like, do your work first before you start eating the money.
You don't need to eat anything. All that you deserve will come to you. All the things that are lawfully yours will come to you, either in the form of gratification
I'm
or
lucky
whatever,
to have.
or your salary, But you don't need
I'm
to take
lucky.
from what you need.
I'm lucky to have watching right now one of our colleagues, but who is not just a journalist, not just a presenter, but also the owner of a broadcast station. I will try and get his approval to bring him on the program, and then I'm going to ask him if you have relative ideas and maybe mindset on this thing, and possibly maybe we'll also be able to answer one of those questions that I've asked you. So I'm quickly going to take another short break. This time when I come back, we will be delving straight into our topic for today. We have already did the part that is yours, well, because of our time. I told you 2 hours is just like 3 minutes when you are live on the program. So I will be talking about women in politics, but not until when I have taken this my little time out. And when I come back, the program will still continue. Please don't forget to share the program with somebody, follow and subscribe us on YouTube channel and on Facebook. And please always enjoy the content that we're trying to do. If there's anything that you want to tell us, please follow the prompt below. And you can also write your own comments, is your opinion. When it's time, I'm going to put the number to call. You can call us straight from anywhere in the world. We'll pick your call live and then you'll be in the studio. But that will have to wait until after this time out.
The stories that are most important to us are stories about me, you, and others. Such stories are about politics, economy, landmark achievements, institutions, sports, and entertainment. The stories that are most important to us are stories about me, you, and others. Such stories are about politics, economy, landmark achievements, institutions, sports, and entertainment.
Yes, you're welcome back. The program is Your Opinion with your very amiable presenter, Valentine Benga Olasende is my name. And I have on the hot seat the General Manager of Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Idofia in Kwara State, HAJIA, BINTA, ABUBAKAR, MURA. Now, a lot of people feel that you are Yoruba. Your name does not show that because you speak. Maybe I don't know which one is your first language, maybe English or Yoruba, but I think I've seen you speak. So a lot of people see you speak Yoruba. But can you just quickly, because this one will not take more than 1 minute, 2 minutes, just give us a view of your background. Where are you from?
Thank you. I'm from Kayama local government here in Kwara State. I'm from Kwara North, and I speak Boko Baru very well.
What
and
is
so
Boko Baru?
Yoruba
What is
is
Boko Baru? We only know
Boko
Hausa.
Baru it's the Baruba language. Well, you know,
So
from the Bargu province, yes, from the Bargu province in the then Kwara, Niger.
Okay, just for the sake of orientation, just for the sake of orientation, because this is also education. How close is that to the Nupes that we know? Do they have anything like? Do they have any similarity? The language, the culture, the tradition, are they by any chance the same?
Only the culture is similar, but the language is different. You know, we are all northern inclined, both Nupe and people from Boko Baru, Barute, Kayama. You know, we all have the northern outlook, but our languages are different. Even Kayama and Barotse languages are worlds apart.
Well,
You know, so
I hope the people from that side, I hope they are watching. I mean, I've had
yes,
situations where I've met the
the
emir of,
languages are different, really.
yeah, I have a couple of times met the emir of Kayama. You know, I've been around that place. I was very close to the honorable Speaker House of Assembly then, Alhaji
Mm.
Bio. You know, so I
Okay.
know a lot of people there, and I know they are very wonderful people. In fact, sometimes I look at it like they are more like Yorubas too, though by culture and identity they are a little bit different. But you know, they are very
Mm.
respectable people, very hospitable. Like the day I got there, like 7 families brought food for me just because I was a stranger, and you know,
Yes,
and they even
that's
gave me one
yes.
attire that you should be a Baruba man. I said no, I'm Yoruba. But I mean, I really had a good time. Though
Mm.
you don't have good roads. I don't know if that has changed, but one
That
of the most
it has
terrible roads that I've ever plied in my life is the road to
to
Kayama,
Kama, or
Baruti, Ukuta,
you can say
Bosu,
that.
Bosu,
You can say
Boshegada,
that again.
Boshegofa. One governor needs to wake up one day because
One
I
day.
have been to Kwara North and they have the worst of roads. I'm saying this again,
Hmm.
the worst of road network in Nigeria, not only in Kwara State. I mean, that's
You
that's
can
putting
say
you on
that
Guinness
again.
Book. That's putting you on Guinness Book of World Record anyway.
Guinness Book of In fact, you can
All
say
right.
that again, and that's the only thing that breaks my heart, that our roads are yet to be fixed. But I must say something that, without sounding like I'm advertising, this route that you're mentioning, the Kayama, Ilorin, Kishi, Kayama. That's the
Mhm.
one that is worst hit.
It's
Kayama, New Busa is also bad. Kayama, Barose is also bad. But I'm happy to tell you that all these routes are Ilorin via other states like Oyo before you now come back to Kwara. So now the state government is opening, a road from Bodesadu area where you can now connect. It's a direct road to Kayama, and that road is being worked on now. It has gone far. I haven't visited it, but I have seen a lot of videos on the social media showing the progress of work, on that road. So probably before or
well,
by the end of this year, we should have
well,
at least one road that
and
leads to Kayama that you can drive
let,
with your eyes closed.
let me sound a little bit political here. I don't know. This is by no means that I'm supporting anybody, but I mean we have heard that somehow maybe the next gubernatorial candidate is going to come from Kwara North, if it ever comes from Kwara North, and hopefully maybe if like I said again, if maybe somebody comes from there, maybe the person will take it as one of the point of note or observation to do, to at least do something about Kwara North. But I mean we are not discussing that again. Maybe next time when you come on the program, we'll be discussing Kwara politics. But for now, let's just stay on the topic for the show. Now, I'm going to leave you and I want you to look at the time. In 1 minute, I want you to be very descriptive, assess from your own point of view what has been the role of women in Nigerian politics. In 1 minute, please.
Women have played, a very vital role in politics in Nigeria. We've had so many women in the past who have paved the way for current or present day women. The likes of Gambosa Waba, Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, the likes of late Dora Aquinley. They have played their role in politics. They have shown that women can do a lot. Women can also take part in governance, and we have seen many women who have succeeded in their various professions and all the things that are doing. There are a lot of women, even in the private sector, who are entrepreneurs who have done so well, and they're Nigerian women. So there's so many. The likes women in journalism also who have gone far, the likes of Abike Dabiri Erewa, So to mention but a few, you said I should watch my time. It's I probably must have said more than a minute, but I must tell you that Nigerian women have played a very vital role in politics and are going to do a lot in the in the nearest future. And I also hope to. Yeah, I know you said you were going to ask if I would want
Well.
to.
Thank you for the thank you for the higi haga and for the crankom crankom. But here is it. Beyond the smoke screen of what you have just said, the likes, all the names, I mean, good people that you have mentioned. A lot of people, a different school of thought, believe that every time a woman comes in politics, it's either about cheating, is either about allegation, controversies, embezzlement. Every time a significant woman comes into power, there's always this trajectory of a misbehavior, a misdemeanor, or something. Especially, even right now, trending everywhere. And I want you to listen to this. Let's look at this. This is from a research that was conducted. And I'm going to read. It says, Nigeria has continued to record a low representation of women in politics, despite the fact that women constitute almost half of the country's total population. In the country's history of elected government officials, there has not been one female president, vice president, or state governor. For the office of the deputy governor, the highest number of women to occupy that seat in a single election was 6, and that was in 2007. Out of the 36 available states, the situation is no better in the legislative house at both federal and state level. And you are saying that, okay, women have played one role when less than 5% of them are even in power. When out of those 5% that are in power, 80% of them are always involved in one scandal, misconduct, or that. What is going on? Why do we have, is it that they are not turning out? Is it that they are not giving them chance? Is it a gender bias thing? Is it incapacitation, or what is going on?
It is everything you have mentioned, actually. Really, yes. The reason why I have to say that women have done a lot is to buttress the fact that they haven't had the, the fair playing ground or had the opportunity to do more than they should do. Now, like the representation we're talking about now, of course, there are less women in the National Assembly, less women in the Federal House of Representatives, less women in the state's houses of assembly. But for us in Kwara, if you ask me, the tune is different. There are more women in the cabinet here in Kwara State. We have more women commissioners. We have at least a reasonable number of women in the House of Assembly. And if you ask me, really, by our population, we haven't done enough. Yes, we haven't done enough. That initial statement that I made is to show you that women can do a lot. Women can achieve a lot, and women can take part in the political growth and history and story of Nigeria. And we can also participate in moving Nigeria, to the promised land. So all we need is to have more representation. Yes, women are discouraged from going into politics. There are
How
a
are they
lot
discouraged? How are they discouraged?
the playing ground. Now, a woman wants to go into politics. She doesn't. She probably doesn't even have the money she needs, because everything in Nigerian politics has been monetized. It's money politics. So how many women are billionaires or millionaires that can afford to, venture into politics?
But,
So
but
unless
is politics or power determined by how much you have?
Well, for us here in Nigeria, it's what we have seen in the past. It's about what you have. You have no money, nobody is with you. At least if nothing, it breaks my heart each time we have to make reference to Sarah Jibril, who once contested presidential election and her vote by herself. I mean, so where were the other women? How could it have been that she was the only person that
But
voted
this is
herself?
the age where there is the campaign of women supporting women. So what happened?
Yes.
This is the generation of women wanting their voice. Since Beijing conference, no, I mean the whole world has not slept. Since Beijing
We have
conference,
not.
women have taken
Yeah.
it all order. They want to be heard. They want to be seen. But when it comes to politics, they are weaklings. When it comes to there's a measure of cowardice when it comes to politics. So what is going on? And then how can we remedy that? Are you with me? Did you hear my
Yes,
question?
I'm with you. I
Okay,
didn't
good.
get the last part of the question.
Okay.
Where you stopped with that women are weaklings when it comes to politics.
Yes.
Yes, I heard
So
that.
now I'm saying that what do we do? How do we remediate that? Since Beijing conference, there has been so much campaign for the recognition of women, and it's a level
Mm,
playing ground. All you need to do is pick a
mm.
form and make sure that you have a card, a party card on
Is
that
it is
platform.
it's not that easy.
I mean, when
It's
you
not
create the
that
platform
easy to pick
yourself,
a
then
form
take the
because
form
I
and
allow me to interject and say that I had this big auntie from of a local government area. May her soul rest in peace now. At the last election, she was out to run for Senate, and she made her intentions, known. She did a little bit of a press conference, and before you knew it happened, it is usually the party that will always tell them that, oh no, you have to wait first or do the because I was close to her, so I knew her story. So that was how she couldn't run for that senatorial seat, and that's the end. And now that kind of woman who had that courage now, may her soul rest in peace, she's no more. So we would be needing more women who will have the courage to say, okay, I want to go to the Senate. I want to even at that time she was also spending the little she had saved up. She was retired. So she was also spending money. So you see why I tell you that you can't detach that money factor. So unless the parties make a deliberate effort to say that, okay, yeah, with this new creating the space for women, deliberately saying, okay, this is where we want our women to be in, or this will leave the seats for them to acquire. It's a deliberate effort. If we can maintain that, then there will be
okay.
more women represented. There are a lot of people who want to, they don't even know where to start from. They don't have the idea of how to go about it. So there's need for education to, inform a lot of women that, okay, if you want to do politics or you want to go into politics, this is where you need to start from and all that. And don't forget that you cannot just come from anywhere. That's the way they call it. Like you just don't come and say, okay, you want to take the front seat. In
Okay,
politics, they will
okay.
tell you go and queue up.
Exactly. But that does not accrue to women alone. I think it's just a general term, is a general
It,
thing in politics,
I
especially in
yeah.
Nigeria. That you cannot just
Mm,
be the son or daughter of nobody and you come into it. But now,
mm,
here is the teaser. There are a lot of women organizations like NAWAJ, Women for
yeah.
this, Women for that. I mean, can't one of these organizations decide to sponsor one of them? I mean, if somebody like Natasha Poti can get to the assembly, if people like Gbemisola Saraki can get there, you have like Stella Odua and all that. I mean, this thing should move
Mm,
in geometric progression. You and
it should.
Natasha, bring other women into it, bring them from the lower house of assembly to Senate to House of Rep. Do you think women are actually doing enough for them to be seen and heard? Is it not all about equality with men that they are looking for? Husband and wife are equals. Is that not the agitation and the
No,
orientation they are giving
no,
becoming?
no. It's not about equality or trying to be at par with our partners or with the men. It's not about being at par with them. It's about the environment being friendly for them to do what they ought to do. Really, we need to encourage ourselves as women, like you have said, like Natasha now, she has been to the Senate. She's there now. Regardless of the controversies, surrounding or that have spurred up in the recent past, she has done a yeoman's job for her people, and she's doing it. She has not stopped. So if she's unstoppable and she's determined. What I also want to emphasize is that women are always determined when they make up their mind to do something. And for her, she has shown us that she knows what she's doing, she's determined, and her people are more important to her. And I want to tell you that if more women will come out and support their own, I'm telling you, if only we wake up one day and say, okay, every woman must vote for a female candidate, I'm telling you, they will emerge. They will emerge because we have the number. But the way politics is now, it's not in our favor. And then the very few people who come out, sometimes they may not even be the best quality. Those who are good, those who have the quality to be there, they're not interested. It's either they're doing other things, but people can recommend people. And then this is where we need to begin to recognize what people are doing in their little corners, the efforts they're making, either in their communities, in their workplaces, or what they're doing even as entrepreneurs and such. So if we begin to recommend people and move there and then move away from money politics, there will be more women, to represent us either at the National Assembly, or state houses of assembly. And I was telling you the other time that here in Kwara, at least we have some vice chairmen at the local government level who are women. If there's anyone who is deliberate in ensuring that women are involved in his government, then we have no choice but to give it to AA. We have to give it to Mala Abdulrazak Abdurrahman of Kwara State, and everybody knows that he's done so well in this. So if other governors can also emulate what he's doing, then it will go a long way. It will go a long way to ensure that more women participate in governance, either at the state level or at the federal government level or local government level. So it's not about, being at par with the men. Identifying the women who can, do this, or who can represent their people, who can do what they ought to do is what is also very important. And then we need the women to be out to support themselves. So if you ask me, I say that we need to do more than the Beijing affirmation that we've been talking about, 35% affirmation. Nigeria is still lagging behind. We're still lagging behind. Other African countries have moved. We have countries that have moved to 35%. They have attained it, and they're even pushing to go to 50%. And here we are, instead of having a progressive number of women in the National Assembly, we're having a reduction. We're having a reduction. So it's the men also have to be deliberate to, give us that opportunity. We're not equal in strength. We're not equal in.
Okay. I'm
yes.
sorry. I had a little bit of a internet issue. I don't know. Maybe it was your side, but it was.
No.
But thank you for holding forth. Now, when women say that, oh, they're not giving them the chance, how do you mean? Is anybody stopping them from getting funds? Is anybody getting them from joining politics? Why are
yes.
our women more interested in? Why are they more interested in pursuing only careers, but they are not even representing where they come from? Is it because of religion? Is it because of culture? Those are the things I want you to address.
Yes, some of the issues are cultural, some are religious. Because sometime last week, a woman was saying, over a telephone conversation that she was interested in politics, but her husband, did not give his consent to that. And so for married women, for married Muslim women, if I may also say that, it's always often that their husbands may not be in support of them, going into politics. So usually it is that they will have the interest, but because the husband didn't give their consent, so they just give up their dreams. They give up their dreams. And because we're not by ourselves, unless you have a supportive husband who would be there for you, who would support you all the way and be by your side, okay, like if I may use Natasha Akpoti and her husband as a very vivid and typical example. Her husband is also by her, supporting her and ensuring that, he gives her all the necessary supports that she needs. So if you look at party ticketing, The other time I mentioned parties, that the parties have to be deliberate. Sometimes when they say forms are out for sale, millions of naira. Now, okay, for now, BINTA wants to do politics. Where will I come up with, say, 5 million to pick up a ticket? Ask me. Probably, okay, then I can run to Benga, you're a friend. So maybe a committee of friends can now,
Why not?
But the fact is,
but that's one of the things I'm saying. Have you explored? Okay,
yes.
Let's look at it. If you want to go into politics, that's why I said that. Are you sure women are exploring the opportunities around them? What about their church? Can their church fund it? Their mosque?
Funding,
Like,
for
if
funding,
you want to go, why don't you talk to committee of friends, myself, Sheun, Okimbaloye, talk to the former DG, talk to Ayokomi Osinlu. Are women exploring the opportunities that are cruise around them? Are they doing it, or are they just contented with just playing the role of agitation with men? Then because of our time, because we have just about 30 minutes or less than 30 minutes to go now, I want us to quickly talk about Natasha Akpoti, as a case study. How did she get there? She comes from a background of politician, very strong family. Are you going to say that was the reason why she was able to get the ticket? Has she performed brilliantly? What about her controversies, which has always been the problem with women in politics? There is usually 98% of those of them that have been in politics, especially that have gotten to a position of power, have always been submerged in one controversy or the other. What is the problem?
For Natasha Akpoti, her background may have played a very, very vital role in getting her to where she is today, because your background assists you in dreams like this, to achieve dreams like this. We have seen it in the past, but the Nigerian story is where you see the son of a senator, the son of a governor, becoming a member of a National Assembly or State House of Assembly, or becoming the local government chairman. It's easier, yes, because they have the background, they have the money, they can do that. And then for the ordinary person, it takes a lot to get there. For Natasha Akpoti, haven't even gotten there. What she has done within the period of time that she got there, it's highly remarkable. And she had always been passionate about the Ajaokuta steel rolling mill, and she did her best to ensure that establishment comes back to life. And if what we hear in the news, or what she also is claiming, is true, then it says that there are saboteurs who don't want to see that project come to life. They don't want to see the project come to life. But she is giving her all to ensure that that project sees the daylight. So struggling to ensure that her people have something they can fall back on, something that can develop their community, something that can benefit the entire nation. And then there are saboteurs, maybe because they don't like a Natasha Akpoti, or they don't like her face, or apparently they have their selfish interests. They have something that they want to achieve by not allowing that establishment to come to life. They are sabotaging.
Without sentiment.
They're sabotaging it. Yes, I'm not being sentimental here.
No. I want to ask a question. Is it because she's a female candidate, or is it because she's a female parliamentarian, or just politics coming to play? Do you think the attack on, or the allegation? So now, if that is politics, which is one of those things that they usually use, those are some of the mechanisms that is always brought to play. Now, I'm saying that female in government, females in politics, why are they not performing? There's always a claim of, somebody is trying to bring me down, somebody is sexually harassing me, or they are eating money, chopping money. I mean, money will just grow legs. You remember the minister that in just a couple of months, remember what happened? Remember Stella Odua? Remember even the wife of the president when she was in the Senate? Remember the fight with your gentleman in Kogi State, or rather, no, I won't call him a gentleman. Why do we always have controversies surrounding women representation in
Mm.
government and in politics?
Well, for me, I think when women find themselves in a position or in a public office, I think we need to do a lot, work on ourselves, to be strictly official when we need to. The fact that sometimes some of these things I think comes with the thinking or maybe this perception that women are, you can just ride over a woman or something. So that sometimes in the cause or in the process of wanting to prove that they can't be overridden and all of that, they find themselves in controversies. The issues of harassment and all that, you can't take it away from public office holders or women in the public eye. It depends on how we manage the situation. A woman finds herself in a very unsafe place, or in fact, you don't even create the platform, don't create the avenue, do not create the avenue for any form of harassment to come your way. Because
Okay, okay, thank you for mentioning that. Now,
mm,
one of the allegation, there are two
mm,
separate things. There is the
yes.
issue of you change my seat, I'm not going to sit down there,
Mm,
which
mm,
the gross
yeah.
misconduct, the reason why she was
Mm,
suspended, come the allegation of sexual harassment. Now, one of the
mm,
allegations
mm,
that she said was like, oh, at the time, he held my hand and squeezed it. Okay, why? The question I read when I was reading one, and I listened to one of the interviews that was given to one of his assistants. The guy said, "Why did you accept the holding of hand?"
mm.
Because the Bible said, "Flee from all appearances of evil." Now it means that there must be some kind of consent to you allow him to hold your hand, because maybe he didn't squeeze the hand immediately. Maybe, I mean, lawyers will be better at discussing it. So, like you said, don't allow yourself in that situation.
Mm,
Something must have, I mean, you have been going around and you have been saying things and all that. Make it strictly business. Maybe that would have been better. But also,
mhm.
let's look at it from the other side. Maybe there's nothing wrong in her just allowing a senior colleague in the house, they're all senators, a senior colleague to just, okay, extend a hand, like, okay, I'm seeing him like a brother, like a father, holding the hand, but why squeezing it too? So
That's good.
now, are we saying that the women that come into power are not the right ones that are supposed to be there? We have had situations
Mm,
where even people that are not worthy of going into the House of Assembly,
yeah.
even the lower houses, they are the ones that find, because maybe they are close to one godfather, or they know one godmother, or their father was this and all that. Will you say and agree that majority of the women that are representing us now is as a result of somebody putting them there, or they got there on merit?
That's a very dicey question. For some, it could be for the fact that they were just put there. Uh, you know, uh, there's something that I always say, that the person who didn't struggle or who didn't suffer to get to where he or she is, they never know the value of what they have, and so they don't keep, they don't maintain that. They won't even maintain what they have or sustain it or protect it. So for those that get there on merit, they will do everything in their means to protect where they are, protect their integrity, protect their office, mind their sayings, their doings, their engagements and all that. And that's why I said, don't even create the avenue. Don't create the avenue. Is They say there's the Yoruba people say that Oguma so Nimashi. So don't do it, and then nobody says anything about it. But once you do it, it becomes the talk of town. So if we begin to, Nigeria has always had issues of square pegs in round holes from all spheres of life: politics, government, employment, I have seen a lot of it. Even with employment, you just be there and then somebody will just come with a letter of employment. They probably were sitting in their bedroom and they call them, oh, your employment letter is ready. And then they go to report and resume there. I want to assure you that that kind of person will not take that job seriously. But the one who applied and struggled and kept checking and going and coming and calling for this, asking for support here and there, once they receive that kind of employment, they hold it dearly to heart. They protect the work. They do the job like their life depends on it. And it's the same way with being anywhere at all. If you get there on merit, you will do all you can to protect it. But if you're just put there, people don't just, they easily forget.
So on a scale of 1 to 100%, since independence, the women representation that we have had, what is the percentage of women that you will say, as a matter of your own opinion, what is the percentage of women that you say got there by merit?
The women that got there by merit, percentage. Okay, let me not sound like a broken record. Probably, probably 45%, or maybe. I'm just trying to be modest, really.
If you have a child that goes to school, comes back with a result of 40%, are you going to say, oh,
it's not a pass mark? That's what I'm trying to tell you, that it is those who have gotten there on merit. I cannot, in fact, I can't say Benga. I just can't say. Yes.
Because
unless
this
we
is
start we'll do a fresh research on that, and then probably would.
Thank God you have the resources. You are now the general manager, so you have your. You said all those your field reporters. Let them go on the ground and conduct an opinion poll. It would be good for you to make something like that. Okay, now let's talk about Natasha. People are saying, "Oh, he's right." Some people are saying he's wrong. Why would you suspend her? No, this one. There was a time Bukola Saraki had the same issue with Akpabio. He was not suspended and all that. So what's your take on the suspension? Do you think it was worth the suspension?
For me, that was an extreme step to take. To have suspended her is like hitting an ant with a hammer. I mean, what is actually the bone of contention, that would warrant that kind of drastic reaction? I want to, align with the fact that she said she has evidence, and think that it will only be best for us to wait until she's ready to bring that evidence,
but she wasn't suspended based on her allegation.
I know. It's because of her behavior on the floor, that they said she should move, and she insisted. I mean, I could have also done the same if I felt at that time that somebody was trying to, either mess with my integrity.
Especially when they are both senators, it's just like the privilege of somebody is the Senate president. But by House rule, the president.
So you don't.
Another thing from some school of thought is like, it was not Akpabio that suspended her. There was a committee that was set up, and then there were prayers read by Akpabio. There were prayers. One of the prayers says that should she be suspended, should she be accepted back if she writes a letter of apology. And then there is those who are in favor of it say yes, those not in favor say nay. So a lot of people believe that it was not Akpabio that did the suspension, it was the House, it was the Senate. But whether Akpabio or the Senate, do you think that suspension is justified?
It's not justified as far as I'm concerned. It's not justified.
Are you not being a feminist?
I'm not being a feminist. We have seen a lot of other dirty controversies in the assembly that didn't lead to, suspensions and all that. So why this? Why this? Not even in this dispensation, not in this as a current assembly in the past
Okay.
that didn't lead to suspension. So why? So for me, it's my opinion anyway. It's uncalled for. That's my opinion, really. If you ask me,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
not
I'm going
necessary.
to ask this. I'm going to ask this question. If you can read on the screen, you'll see that somebody was asking a question. What is the situation? Before we come back, we're going to take a short break after this question,
Mm,
and then when we come back, we'll come to make our final thoughts on what we're saying. The question says, "What is the situation in Kwara now? Some level of girls Almanjiri not in school." I think this does not go to women alone, but she's saying because the topic is for women. If you
mm,
have women Almanjiris, I mean girls Almanjiris, when will they ever become any notable thing in society? And he says this is the future when discussing women. There is no education. They are right there on the street, exposed to a lot of harassment, whether sexual, physical, or whatever. When will they become? And this is usually more noticeable in the up north. So, what is the
mm.
future for women when we are talking about this?
Okay. Are we? Do you want me to respond to this before we?
Yes, yes. I want you to rest before we
Okay.
take our break.
Yes. It's actually quite sad that we have we're still battling or grappling with out of school girl children who ought to be in school who are either hawking or doing almajiri. But like you said, Benga, it's actually a very rampant situation in the up north. But here in Kwara, the situation is changing. We have organizations, even women organizations that are supporting girls in school, adopting children, encouraging them to go to school, providing them with uniforms and all that. So it's the situation is changing, but because what we are seeing now is an improvement of what it was in the past. It's hard to see that the girls are roaming the streets these days, without going to school. Uh, the ones that we see around mostly, they're not from this part of the state. They're either foreigners who are living here. And I know of an organization that is adopting school children, enrolling them in school, paying their school fees, uniform, getting them books, sandals, and all of that. So a lot is being done. So unless if we can get more organizations that can do more, adopt more girls, and then we can have more girls in school. And then
From
the out
uh,
of school girls will now reduce to a barest minimum.
well, as the host and presenter of this program, which also I have my own opinion,
Yeah.
I feel that is not enough because I think one of the major core responsibility of any government is to make sure that things like that are given value. Education is at its lowest ebb in Nigeria because only the rich are actually given proper, if proper at all, education. Now, a lot of those people in government, most of them went to missionary schools. I stand to be corrected. Most of them went to missionary schools. They went to local school, LSMBs. That's what they attended. But now they are making education so expensive that only their own children will be able to have good or quality education.
Quality
Or is it too difficult for a governor of a state or the president of a country to say that for 1 year, all we are going to do is the establishment of schools, primary schools? I mean, it's not enough for, it's good, but it's not enough that only associations, organizations are the one that will be picking 10 girls and say they want to give them education, which I mean, a whole lot of times this organization collapse and that's the end for such girls. Only very
Yeah,
few of them will make it to the peak. So
yeah.
what is
Like,
your own, what is your own, before we go for the intervention, what is your own
okay.
advice to this government, this insensitive government that we have had over time, especially to education? Most of their children are schooling abroad, from president to the local government chairman that is newly elected. Before they are elected, most of them don't even, they always feel that when we get there, we're going to do. But the moment they get there, all they want to do is buy bulletproof cars, enrich themselves, buy houses in Dubai, in London, and all that. And they forget that they are also products of the poor, downtrodden, poverty line people. But right now, nothing is being done. What is your advice to them?
Well, the only way to go is to rebuild schools, ensure that those who are teaching in these schools are, up to date themselves who are qualified. You just don't enroll any teacher in any public school. The story in Kwara is slightly different because of recent, we had the recruitment of teachers in Kwara State. And in the course of the recruitment, a lot of crossing the T's and dotting the I's, a lot of checks and rechecks were made, to screen the teachers and all that, to ensure that those who are going to hit the classroom at the end of the day are people that will give quality to these children. And it's at the local schools, schools all operated by the SUBEB, that's the State Education Board and all that. And the issue of renovating schools has also been ongoing in Kwara State. I'm not a mouthpiece for the state government, but I'm just telling you.
I was going to say maybe you now work for AA.
I'm just telling you.
Elections are coming.
It's just the picture of what is happening in Kwara, So it's what we are seeing, and people need to know that probably what they know before, things are changing gradually. So all we need is a continuum in government. If a governor comes and does something spectacular in the education sector, please, another governor should just not come and halt it and start all over again. It keeps taking us back. But then if you proceed with what your predecessor has done, then it becomes a seamless move from where the predecessor stopped, and then from where the new person takes up from. So my advice is the government should invest in these schools, ensure that the teachers are qualified, and then with proper supervision, because the idea people have is that government school teachers, all they do is in class probably sit and cross it. When they shout at the pupils for a moment, they probably don't do that. I know there was a picture, or at a time things were like that, but now we're seeing a different scenario. Teachers should take their job more seriously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, HAJIA, BINTA, ABUBAKAR, MURA. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be running up with our thoughts. And I want to make bold to say that the quality of even people that are employed as teachers has really, really reduced. Back then, when we were young, when we were growing up, I personally can say boldly that I had good education, good teachers, because a lot of, if not all, most of these teachers are only engaged based on merit. But how would an English language teacher not even be able to show proficiency in the knowledge of English language as much as even the pupils or student that he's teaching? Why would you not be able to say in affirmative indices or theories that I understand physics better than you, that you are my student? Why does it only have to be in the international colleges and the multinational schools? That's food for thought. And I'm also going to say that in the continuum of governance, a governor was there some time ago, build a media house or a center for the journalists, and was destroyed by another government. And on that same land, they came up with a diagnostic center. Are you saying there are no other spaces in the whole of the state to build your own or to erect your own structure? Why do you have to destroy somebody's legacy just because you want to build your legacy? Is that what you call the continuum decimal in governance? That will be a topic for another day. I'm going to play something that is funny. Somebody who saw that he was the president of Nigeria, maybe from the spiritual angle. That's just a teaser. And then we'll go on the short break. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Share this. You can still go back on YouTube to watch this if you miss any part of it. And please refer it to some of your friends. Let's listen to this teaser, or let's go for the short intermission. When we come back, it will be time to be running over our thoughts. I remain sincerely yours, Are Valentine Benga, your host for today.
Take it to the mountaintop. If you have never heard it before, I'm saying it to you this morning. In the scheme of things, as far as politics of Nigeria is concerned, President Muhammadu Buhari is number 15, and yours sincerely, I'm number 16. I've never said that to you before. I never said that to you before. I make it plain this morning. I let you know it this morning. Nothing can change it. In the name of Jesus, he is number 15. I am number 60. To this end,
that night, and let me say this now. On the 14th of March at 10:30 p.m., mind you, 2 days before that, which was on the 12th, Akpabio had called Governor Dodo on the phone that he should commence my recall. But Governor Dodo told him it would be impossible. No, hold on. This was what Governor Dodo said on the 12th. Listen. He said, on the 12th of March, Akpabio spoke to Governor Dodo to recall me. But he told him to be impossible because the masses are with her, the people are with her. But Akpabio was not satisfied. He then sent for Yaya Bello. And it was actually Senator Asukwo from Cross River that drove Yaya Bello from Hilton Hotel. I was informed of everything. And when I got to know, hold on, the meetings was in two folds. He told him to commence my recall. And that he was going to fund it. Of course, monies changed hands that night. The second thing he told him was that he should try and kill me. I didn't make this public, but I wrote to the IG of police. And Akpabio told Yahya Bello, I am saying, sorry about what I've said. He told him that he should make sure that killing me does not happen in Abuja, it should be done here. So it will seem as if it's the people that killed me here. I didn't make that public, but we did notify the security agencies of that.
You're welcome back. Well, first was the intermission, followed closely by the prediction or prophecy of our pastor Tunde Bakare, who is supposed to be the next president after, as God showed him, you know, and that is the kind of people we have in politics. Is my opinion. I think nobody should be judged by the content of their words, it should be by the value of their characters. Because if the so-called men of God can come out and say that in the name of God, that they have seen it, who then do you believe? And I wonder how they still get that flock of followers following them sheepishly, my opinion. And then followed by the allegation, multiple allegations there that may be used in the court of law. Allegation of intent to murder, allegation of plots to destabilize, to do this one and all that. Well, the lawyers will do that. Thank God Natasha herself is a lawyer. And then are those the so-called electorate that are doing the recall in a room wearing singlets, signing papers for recall? Will the democracy in Nigeria survive? Is that the art of democratic electionary or processes? I still have in the house, as we round up our thoughts, we are just a little bit behind time, but we can accommodate because I don't want to short her thought. I want her to tell us what she feels about this. Women in politics is always coming with controversies, always. Same thing with men, but for women, the other definition of women in politics is chaos. I have in the house my beautiful sister and friend, colleague, HAJIA BINTA ABUBAKAR MURA, the current general manager of Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Idofia, Kwara State. You watch the teaser. Let's start from the teaser. That was Pastor Bakari. What happened to the prediction and prophecy?
I don't know. maybe it's not yet time. I don't know. Are we all jokers? I
In
mean,
this country, it's a country of
you don't just get it.
shenanigans. I'm telling you, religious, spiritual shenanigans everywhere.
I mean, even if you see that kind of thing in your dream, do you come out and say it like
In a church, that large congregation, followership, and you are adding the name of Jesus to it, it will not change. So what happened to prayers? Are you saying prayers are no longer answered? I am very disappointed at that level of spiritual godfatherism. At that level, you don't just come to church and just say things like that, and then you go on. And you know this is going to be shared all over the world. Yet some people will still go and vote for those people. Nigerians, can't we just open our eyes and our ears? That I'm a Christian does not mean that I'm going to be foolish, or that anybody is a Muslim is going to be foolish. Let's take it out of it. All right, let's go back to what we're saying. Natasha, you saw the first video clip where she was addressing the crowd. Now there was, is it a quick rule law that there should not be any congregation in Kogi State, like a coffee?
Yes.
Yet she still flouted the order, and then she now came up with these allegations. What do you think happened there? And are there going to be consequences? Okay, let's take that before I go to the next question, and then we round up.
Well, you know, she had already set out to visit her people. She had that intention, and now all of a sudden there was a curfew, and then the next thing they say no gathering, and no this, no that. You know, sometimes as humans, you can't but know when something is coming at you or when it's aimed at deliberately stopping or halting what you intended to do. But I believe that the fact that she went there and her people came out en masse to welcome her is commendable. For flaunting the law or for going against the law as you know, stipulated, well, in your own language, leave that to the lawyers. So I think they'll take care of that. But in the long run, I just want to say that you know, she's bold, she's courageous. It takes a lot of courage, you know, even to do the things that she did. And for the allegations, those are heavy allegations. She has said them, and I'm sure that if they were to meet in court, she probably would have her reasons or have her evidence to show. So as law-abiding citizens and good Nigerians, let's say we'll just wait and allow the law to take its course. Let's see how they roll the end of the, you know, controversy. If Akpabio is going to go ahead and, you know, take her to court, and we'll see how she should, you know, how she'll take herself out of this. But on my take, Natasha is one person that I would say kudos to, because don't say I'm a feminist, Benga,
do you
because
mean
I know you say.
Wait. Do you mean to say kudos or kunduz?
No, kudos. She has done a great job, you know, protecting her people, fighting for her people. She may have her own negative aspects or her own disadvantages that I don't even know. But what she has done is encouraging, and to be fearless is something. And I want to say that
okay. It's not only Pastor Prophet Tunde Bakari that has doubled. I mean, spiritual things in politics. Natasha too. You know, we saw some things. So you know,
like,
it's a lot of people have different definitions. I'm going to play it so that you can see, and then I want to have your take on it, and then we can talk about those people in singlet, in underwears, doing signatures before. Thor, like Yorubas will say, when you are awesomely surprised, they will say Thor. You know? Now,
yeah,
this is the thing. When people do things, especially in this age of social media, there will be different interpretations.
Interpretations, yeah.
Now, that could just be like a level of understanding the sublimity of our traditional value. But at the same time, it could be seen as consultation for whatever reason. Now, that's a devoted Muslim, because we always hear her background as a devoted Muslim. You know, she's always covered and all that. How do you reconcile HAJIA BINTA MURA, who covers her head, now go to the shrine of Ogun, kneeling down and all that? What do you think of that? Is that part of the things we expect in politics?
Yeah, that we're experiencing. She has a right to a religion. Like you said, she's a Muslim. Our faith as Muslims, we all have different levels. We have attained different levels of religiousness, if there's any word like that. For the Christians, we have the very, very, deep Christians. We have we have the other ones who are just. So if she chooses to go to Oshun, she has her reasons for doing that. It's not in my place to judge her, but I know that my religion does not allow me to combine anything with the one God that I serve. I know that very well. So
okay,
if
let's leave that aside, because I need to close this program. Madam. Okay. Whether I may still see it as women supporting women, but leave me is my opinion, and that's your opinion. So because on this program, nobody has a superior, and nobody has superiority when it comes. Nobody has any superior opinion. Yours is yours, mine is mine. Let people just decide on what they want to hold on to. Now, those people wearing underwears, singlet, or exposing the other, is that the expected process of recalling from? Yeah. Is that what we expect? Is that how it is done? And do you think that can be acceptable? So what's your take on that? What's your opinion?
It's far from the expected process, and it's just a shame that we can get to that level or stoop that low just because we want to recall Natasha. I mean, who does that in a closed room? And then how can 5-10 people now come up with hundreds of thousands of signatures or names? How can you defend that?
But the question is, a lot of people are questioning that video. That what if that is a planted video? What if it is simulated? What if those who are actually in that video? What if they are supporters of Natasha, trying to just act a script to just show that this is what is going on against her? What do you think? Do you think that's a possibility? Because that's why we are journalists.
Now, nothing is impossible. And now this takes us to my initial talk on the advent of social media and how it can be misleading. So we have to ensure that we keep portraying what is true. Do not, even if you want to expose anything, be sure that what you're showing is the truth and nothing but the truth. If this video, for instance, was meant to be a false video. Now you see that these are some of the disadvantages that I was telling you. But if it is actually a true scenario, then it's fact finding. It's I'll call it investigative journalism, because that person has exposed a wrongdoing.
At least there
So,
are faces in the video
but we
that needs to
need
be
to verify.
scrutinized
You know
and
that we can
verified.
verify, but we can verify that video, whether
Yeah.
it is yeah. So it's verifiable. So these
But
are
in the
some
law,
of the.
in the court of law,
Mm,
would that such
mm.
evidences will it be admissible? Because at the end of the day, the court will decide what they want to accept and what do you think that
And
should
what
be
they do.
admissible?
Well, it's tenable. It's just that the judge decides what he wants to do at the end of the day. So it's back to the lawyer's court or the judge's court. So
God bless Akpabio if that judge is a woman. God bless his soul. If that
God bless you.
okay, I have a question on the screen, and this is like a rider to the earlier question that was asked by the same person, and he said
Okay.
in the affirmative that women are perceived as entertainment arm of electioneering. Give them Ankara music. That's all. Let them come and and women should not vote for women, put them side by side. Women should support themselves. I think he was trying to say something else there, but I don't get it. But is it not true? During the electioneering processes, what we see women do is like they give them 3,000, give them Ankara, give them Amalaeba, you know, and then they come in drones and in troops, and then they come and dance, you know, with all those musical accompaniments, and that's where it ends. On the day of voting, they are no longer they are no longer to be seen. They are nowhere to be found. Do you think
They
this still?
they still come out. Oh, they still come out to vote. Some of these people still come out to vote. But the thing is, when they come out to vote, do they actually vote for their women? Then
So it has to be women.
are the women also contesting? Two questions I ask you, Genga, because it's true, they come out to vote, but it depends. What if they don't have a female candidature or candidacy in that election? So they give their votes to the men that are available. So that's why we say, or that I want to use this opportunity again to encourage women to, participate in politics. Let's come out. Let's change the scenario. Let's increase the number.
As my friend and colleague, I ask this question because I'm going to put you on a wide screen so that I can cut it when I'm editing and during the next election, whatever, I'll be able to ask you that. I did ask you this question. What have you done? Will you, as my friend, BINTA ABUBAKAR MURA, consider representing not only the women, but members of your own constituency someday, somewhere? Will you do that? And should you and some of your ilk, some of your mates to also do the same as part of the solution to what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's a possibility, and I would say yes, because I have had many years of being in positions that make me do a lot of things to support women, to support the people around me. I love to be someone who puts a smile on other people's faces. So I want to be a solution provider. I wish, sometimes I had the wherewithal. And even without being rich enough to solve the problems of some of the people around me, I do talk to other friends that I know. I source for support, just to encourage other people. So if I can give good life to my people by being a part of politics, why not? It's a very big possibility that someday, and I pray that it's in the soonest time possible. So maybe then you would remember that I didn't say no. It's a very, very positive possibility.
Well, in a very foreseeable future, I want to see you as a honorable or distinguished senator, whatever, in whatever position. I know you're going to deliver. not because you're my friend or because you're my sister, but also because I know you and I know that you have been responsible. Especially, you might be one of those class of people that Kwara North has been asking for. And I'm using this opportunity to tell people from Kwara North that you have a lot of good people, but you need to be out there, because a closed mouth is a closed destiny. If you're not out there, nobody is going to know that you're there. So when people say that we are marginalized, I would say, okay, how much of the representation do you have? How much of involvement are you doing? No matter how good you are, if you are not out there to showcase what you have, you always remain a hidden talent, even if you have that talent. All right, we're rounding up gradually. And upon everything that we have said today, I know a lot of people have added value to you. Would you want to make compliments to some particular people, groups of people? It's an opportunity
Wow.
because they might be watching this. Would you want to mention names, or you want to just be general about
Wow.
it? Your ascension
Um,
from just being a reporter. I mean, I can tell the story too. I can tell the story. I know when you came in, but I am happy to see that. So would you want to make some distinction for some people as
some
compliments?
people as compliments. Yeah, well, let me use the opportunity to say
Well, I don't know what happened. I think the internet is down that side. I will want to ask her to bring it back. Let me quickly take this intermission while we wait for her network to come back stronger, and then we'll be able to take.
with Kwara State Television because he believed in me.
Okay,
The
hello.
likes of
Okay, sorry, we lost you. We lost you to
you lost
transmission
me.
there.
Oh, okay, okay,
So
okay.
can you take it back? Can you take it back? Oh,
Back.
let's take
Okay,
it
okay.
back.
I said I would like to, use the opportunity to say a big thank you to first uh, the person who gave me the opportunity to eventually get a place in media journalism. Modibo Isiak Modibo Kau. He was the one who gave me that employment because he believed in me. He believed that I could deliver. And I want to assure you that I know that I didn't disappoint him with that employment. And again, other senior colleagues, Ayobami Akobi, Ayokomi Osenlu, Foluke, Aliyu, that I worked with then in Kwara TV, Professor Saudat Baki. I had a lot of people to learn from. Some of them who are late now, may Almighty Allah rest their souls. And then I have met a lot of other people going forward, from Kwara TV to Radio Nigeria. My predecessors have been very wonderful people. They created a platform for me to flourish in my work, do my work diligently, and they were always supporting me. The likes of late Alhaji Yusuf Abubakar, my former predecessor, Olarwaju Adigboyega, and of course my most recent predecessor, Abdul Wahab Akoshile. I also want to say thank you to them. And then my family, I want to say that my husband has always been supportive. If he had not been in this dream of my career, I'm sure I would have dropped off, journalism a long time ago. To have been on this job for more than 25, go running to 26 years now, means uh, that he has been very tolerable and very supportive. And of course, my mom, I have very good friends, colleagues that I work with, my friends that support me. There are so many. There are so many. My management team now, they're so wonderful. We just started, and I must say that we have started on a very, very wonderful platform. We have started on a very good note. We hit the ground running, and I'm very grateful to them. And I look forward to them cooperating further and even more than what they have done now. And well, they say what you do sometimes, God has, in the course of this job, part of my children, one of them, the oldest, is also in journalism. And it's my prayer that she would also, hit the waves and do a lot of positive things in journalism, things that I was not able to do. Now it's the digital content period, it's the digital media world that we're in. And so the younger ones need to do more. They need to have a better uh, understanding of digital media. So let me also quickly say that on this outing, I want to say a big thank you to my colleague and friend, Kubra Samsudin, for also being there, and Rashidat Ilyas for also being there. I have a lot of wonderful people in my life. When this appointment came, my alma mater, my secondary school, the way they, took this up, in fact, you think I was appointed as a minister or or something, So they took it so much to heart, and I must say that I appreciate them very well. My alumni, I'm a product of Federal Government College Kaduna, and I'm always a proud Kaduna Malali product. Yes.
FGC students are
FGC
always very proud.
Kaduna, yeah.
They have that thing.
You always, know them always when you see them.
They were our girls when we were in school. Okay,
Which
thank you
girl?
so much. Of course, not they were our girls. I mean, I can say I made bold to say that I went to one of the best schools in Nigeria, so I was lucky. So you imagine if you're a product of government secondary school, Ilorin, and that's a school that's produced presidents, and all that, governors everywhere. So on this note, we want to bring this to a punctuation, definitely a comma, not a full stop, because we will be hosting you very soon again, different, maybe on another different topic or for a different reason, by the grace of God. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you, and all the cast and crew of the outfit, Unicom Entertainment, Soundcheck, and Rabbi in America, we're saying thank you so much for accepting our invitation and giving us the honor of being the first media house to bring you an interview. Thank you. And then to all the members of management, especially those that are there with you, saying thank you, because I saw all the preparation done by them. I mean, there's no other way to support a leader other than giving the needed support. So thank you so much. So on a final note, I want you to just give your advice to the women folk concerning female representation in Nigerian politics. In 1 minute, please.
In 1 minute, as women politicians, as women who need to be in politics, I want to say that we need to be deliberate about it. We need to be very deliberate about it. If we don't come out, nobody's going to, bring us out to run or be involved in politics. It has to be a thing of the mind. So we need to begin to change our perception about politics. And it's not always as dirty as people think it is. It's not always as itself up and always avoid the drama that comes with politics. It's just a deliberate thing. It's a mind thing. And so I want to say that come 2027, I hope that the number will be increasing by a sporadic percentage. Maybe we'll be having 70%, if possible. It's a tall dream, Benga. Don't laugh at me. So I hope that I know you'll be laughing.
Well,
I know you. It's
a dream. It's a tall dream.
Anyway, but truly,
now,
I hope that the number will increase by 2027.
Hopefully.
Inshallah. Hopefully. Yeah.
And I hope we're not going to be having Yahoo boys and Yahoo girls in government, because now
no.
the accommodation of people in who govern us is nothing to write home about, because the government is not even critical of all those things. You see a boy of 19 riding a Lamborghini, nobody is asking questions. You see almost all the young girls in schools have gone the other way of a lot of sexual trading, become sexual workers and nobody is saying anything. And this also goes to the parents. We can't leave everything in the hands of government. We can't leave everything in the hands of teachers. You don't know where your children, as I'm talking now, how many parents can say that this is where my children are? Like Frank Olize would say back then on Newsline.
Yeah,
Every 9 p.m. we would say, do you know where your children are? And that's a very great responsibility, a very great asking for parents. So I think even education starts from home. That's why it's called home training, because there are a lot of things. It's only academics. Most of the things that your children will be like about 70% academics and 30% moral. But at home, it's going to be 80% morals. And that's how they are going to become people. The formative years of your children is going to determine whatever they become, whether in government, in society, in churches, in mosque, in religion. So thank you, Ms. Binta, for being on our program. We give an extension of 30 minutes, but it was worth extending. I'm sure you want to sit back, relax, and watch this over and over again. And please send it to people because it's a profile, and you want to share this with people too. For those who were not able to call us, sorry about that. I mean, sometimes it's just the line, but at another time or at other times, please just feel free to join. So once again, HAJIA BINTA, we say thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Yes, it's been a wonderful day. The 19th day of April, the year of our Lord 2025. And with me, I've had HAJIA BINTA ABUBAKAR. I've known her for like 30 years or 35 years, about that. You know, I remember when I joined the media in 1989. 1990 was the first time I had my own program on radio. And it's knowing all those people for me is the story of my life. There's no way I can write the story of my life without all these people that she has mentioned herself. You know, we'll sit down, talk about it, laugh about it. And today here we are. A lot of our senior colleagues, some of my mates have been personal assistants, they have been CPSs, they have been special assistants. In fact, Ayokomi Osinlu rose to become the chief press secretary to the wife of the former president, Jonathan. ABUBAKAR Modibuka, who became the Director General of Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation, and many of them like that. A whole lot of them, you know, all over. I remember back then in Lagos, Ray Power, Bon FM, and all that, you know, traveling around in my Mercedes Benz, I won't forget, you know. So I want to say thank you for all those of you that just joined today, and those of you that have been our dedicated viewers on this program. Thank you so much. Next week is going to be a fresh edition. You're going to see it on our platforms, but I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet on who I will be hosting. Without you guys there can be no me. And I'm glad that you guys are. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook account so that the number can grow. I remain sincerely yours on the show. My name is Valentine Benga-Olasede. Next week is going to be a brand new edition, and we are saying that you should please stay and be a part of it. Till I see you next week. Bye for now.
The stories that are most important to us are stories about me, you, and others. Such stories are about politics, economy, landmark achievements, institutions, sports, and entertainment.